another episode of Deployed. I'm Michael Kieris. I'm a real estate investor and fund operator. Over the years, I've worked with a wide range of investors who've built success in very different ways. Business owners, professionals, and operators, many of whom eventually start to ask the same question. Is there a smarter way to deploy capital, especially retirement capital, outside of the stock market? Here on Deployed, I'm not here to pitch. I'm here to understand how successful people think about capital risk, long term decisions, and to explore how tools like the self directed IRA may or may not fit into that thinking. Today, I'm joined by Nikita Dates. She is helping women and families build peace, protection, and financial confidence. How you doing, Nikita? How you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely amazing, Michael. How are you?
I'm always good. I'm always good. Thank you for asking.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, and thank you for joining me. I know you're super, super busy, so we'll jump right in. Before we talk investing, I love to get some context around what your particular path to success looked like.
Yeah, so I am born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
And then I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. And now I should say I moved to Dallas 5 years ago from Atlanta, right? I
Okay.
spent the majority of my adulthood in Atlanta. Now I'm in Dallas. I went to school, did all the go to school, get a job, and get the degrees, right? And received a degree in accounting and finance, a master's degree in accounting and finance, and a bachelor's in business. And
Nice.
then a little fun fact is I have an associate's in electronic and computer technology.
Okay.
And so with my senior project, the crazy part is we built a automated car
Really?
before there was an automated car.
Oh,
Yes.
so you know what
And I
goes.
have the paperwork to prove it.
That's cool.
Yes, it was really cool. So that's that. So I've been in accounting and finance over 13 years. And unfortunately, the ups and downs of being in corporate America, I was laid off 4 times in a 5-year time span. And I always wanted to deal with money and helping people to, especially single women, right? Because I was that single mother and I didn't know. And, with credit and finance and taxes and things of that nature, right? Just helping them to budget and to be money smart, right? And so when I was laid off the second or third time, I was looking for something else, right? And that something else so happened to be life insurance, financial services industry, right? And so with that, everyone thinks of life insurance as death, as a whole death sentence. However, what people don't realize is that that's another form of wealth,
Mm-hmm.
generational wealth, and so many people have utilized that, and that you can become your own bank. And
Mm-hmm.
so that my mission, my goal, is to educate, right? Educate on understanding how to make your money work for you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I actually joined a program where I would say most of, probably about 85% of the funds that I've raised have come from a program where someone was teaching people how to leverage the whole life policy to be your own bank. I have two
Hmm.
policies and I plan to open up another one. I've just been so busy, so I love that. Absolutely, so, so powerful. I remember the first time I came across the concept, I was like, oh my God, this is insane. So cool that you kind of made it your mission to educate people around it. Was there a moment where your relationship with money and risk really changed?
Absolutely. So I was younger. When I was younger, of course you go to college and they tell you to open up these credit cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to do the whole credit cards like, oh, I'll pay it later. And then later never came. And then that's just bad look, right? Just a whole bad look. Well, I am also so I did my own credit journey, right? Cleaning up my credit and all the things years ago. And then I'm currently in the process of, well, creating an ebook. So I created the ebook and I'm doing a launch on the 25th of this month.
Congratulations.
So just thank you. Just understanding like you can be smart about your money. All debt is not bad debt. And once I understood that you have to take some type of risk and invest in yourself, You just have to understand the risk and the reward and know how to balance it out and have that mentor, coach there helping you and guiding you along the way as well.
I love that. I love that. What's the title of the ebook?
Do it yourself credit repair for small businesses and individuals.
I love it. I love it. I love it. One of the things when I first got into real estate investing, I realized that the credit piece, the credit card, the unorthodox strategies was something that was really touted and talked about in the real estate culture and the real estate world. And it made sense, right? Because in real estate, we really leverage OPM and wherever we
Hmm.
hands on financing. So I've in my real estate journey, I've learned and developed some savvy credit card tricks and hacks and things like that. So that's awesome. I love that you're doing that. Um,
Yes.
as you became more successful, how did the way you thought about capital change or evolve?
Um, so I looked at it much more differently, right? Instead of investing, so instead of just going out and buying just frivolous things, right? And so if I wanted to buy Jordans, right? My daughter had Jordans. So I was teaching her that if you're going to buy them, get some shares of stock in those,
Ooh.
right? So be smart about what your investments are, um, and own a piece of the share, right? Um, and so whether it's just a couple of dollars a month, because they have all different types of things where you can invest your money and it doesn't have to be a lot. And so the thing that I learned is that people think that it has to be a lot of money, that you have to have a lot of money. But what you need to do is understand how to reallocate
Mm-hmm.
some of your budget.
Mm-hmm.
And so because we buy things that we do things that we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's in general, right? If I don't want to go to the store, I'm gonna order my groceries online nowadays, right? But if I want to get out the house, then I may go to the store and get the groceries. But I may need something, but I don't want to go do it. Does that make sense? So we do what we want, not necessarily what we need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so when I look at it from a financial standpoint, it is investing in the things that you need versus what you want. And if it's a want, to recreate that and invest in that want, but be smart about it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love that you said that. I love that you used the reallocate piece because that is a big piece. I remember talking to friends and family, and they often would say, "Oh, you need money to make money," or the reason why that person is wealthy is because they always had money. And to your point, that's not the case. They were just disciplined enough around money, and they just reallocated what they had. Right. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. Well said. Well said. So, what do you think separates people who accumulate capital from those who actually deploy it well?
So I think the separation is the key word that you just said is discipline.
Mm,
Because it takes a lot of discipline to have delayed gratification.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And so we want everything right now, right now, right now. And so there's a saying called the devil's mind is an idle mind, right? And I'm reading a book called Outwitting the Devil. My mentor, I was asking him some questions, about me and how to get to my next level and things of that nature. And I asked for a recommendation on a book. And the book he said was Outwitting the Devil. And I've been hearing it was on my list of books to read. So now I'm reading or listening to the book, and it's very interesting of how the book is written, and he interviews Napoleon Hill interviews the devil, right?
mm,
And the yes, it's very interesting. And so the devil is telling how he attacks people,
mm,
and the main key point is through your mind,
mm,
your thoughts, your fears, right? And so he says the two main attacks is poverty and wealth.
mm,
Because the or poverty and death, excuse me. Because poverty, people think that just because you were raised like that, then that's all that you will ever have.
mm.
And so that plays tricks on your mind. And so that's that mind. That's how he gets on into your mind, right? To tell you that you can't be better than that, to tell you that, right? And then inevitable death, right? So the sickness that comes from death and things of that nature. And so the main key point in that, he said, the people that are his enemies are the people like the Rockefellers, the
Mm,
people who are very successful and wealthy and thought process and can think for themselves.
mm,
And so I thought that was very, very, very interesting because, and I wrestle with this myself, telling myself, like, oh, I'm not good enough. Or, that was one of the things. And, I have to talk to myself and be like, why can't I? Why can't I achieve this? Or this person, it's kind of a friendly competition type of a situation. And I say that because, we compare ourselves to people on the internet or this
mm,
person in our life doing this, or, but the true comparison is what efforts are you making and how disciplined are you to get to your next.
mhm, mhm. Man, I love how you share that. I'm actually gonna get that book for my daughter. Um, so when I really made the decision that I wanted more out of my life, I came to the realization that, oh, if I want to be wealthy, I need to study wealth. I need to study wealth building. And in that process, I realized what I was doing was I was really brainwashing and changing the way that I thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
Removing and stop thinking and having a poverty mindset, and to have a abundance and a wealth mindset. And I started coaching other people about 2 or 3 years ago, and that is the biggest challenge that I see is that internally, they still don't believe. There's still a lot of fear there, and that's just because of what they've known and where they came to be. I was once like that too, and the way that my life has changed over the past 6 years has been insane, because of I spent so much time doing that up front. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize Napoleon did a book with that title. So I'm super super excited to get it. So thanks for sharing that. That's awesome.
Absolutely. It has been an eye opener. Like, it's things that I know, and when that interview takes place and he's asking these questions, and it's like, sheesh, I didn't, because we don't equate the devil being in our mind.
Mm-hmm.
We equate the devil to a person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Most times we equate, yes, we know he's a spirit, but we don't equate it to the different types of spirits
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that we have. And he said something very valuable on there, that cigarette smoking and drinking is two of the biggest things that he gets people with as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, sheesh, I didn't even think of it like that.
Vices, those
And
vices.
so it's really an eye-opening book, and I'm listening to it, so I'm gonna listen to it several times because it's really given me a different perspective, even though I have a positive mind frame. But you have to really be careful of the people that you're around. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm learning, is
Mm-hmm.
that energy is transferable.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thoughts that goes through your mind, there's more thoughts of negativity that go through your mind. 95% of the thoughts are negative. So the other five is only the positive, right? And so with that being said, you have to be in constant communication with yourself to uplift yourself and be around the positive people that's going to help you get to your next level, and not the people that's, call it what you call it, lazy
Mm-hmm.
and doubtful
Mm-hmm.
and fearful and scared of everything that they should have. Like, we are not meant to live in poverty.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Preach.
not meant to live that way. And so it's just an eye-opening situation. Even another thing about what I'm reading is, well, I'm reading the Bible, right, from front to back, just to get a kind of overall understanding of just how things were and things of that nature. And what I'm realized is the people in the Bible are just like us
Mm-hmm.
in everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
They doubted, when Moses freed the people from Egypt and they crossed the Red Sea. The Lord parted the Red Sea. And so It's the same concept. They were complaining about, why did he take us out of there if he wasn't going to feed us and this and that nature, right? We do the same thing.
Hmm.
We get out of a situation, or we get into a situation or get out of one, but it's a decision that we made to do something, and then we mad. We complaining. We not grateful. And so I'm learning in these readings to be grateful for the small things, because somebody didn't wake up this morning.
Hmm. Hmm.
Last Thursday morning, my cousin was found dead in his bed.
Wow. Sorry to hear that.
So somebody didn't wake up. You know what I mean? And so the thing about it is to be grateful and to enjoy the moment, and also understand that the only thing that you can do is to be your best, very best version every day.
That's right. Well said. Well said. Wow, I love that. Thanks for sharing that. And switching gears a little bit, uh,
Yes.
you know, hearing your journey and where you are now, and now really focusing on educating people about wealth. Do you personally think about risk differently now versus how you used to think about it?
Yes. Well, I've always been a risk taker, right? And so I know that with risk, there is also reward. And so there's a man by the name of Patrick Bet David who
Yes.
founded, you know who Patrick Bet David is, right?
I've been seeing him a lot
Founded,
too. I love him.
okay. So he founded the PHP agency, People Helping People, right?
Yeah.
And so I say that to say that I'm a part of that with Integrity Marketing Group. He sold it to Integrity Marketing Group. And so I've been studying him a lot, right? One, because he founded the agency that I'm a part of, right? And then two, the way he did some risk and his risk that he did by starting the insurance agency through his life insurance policy, and the risk that he took, but he grew an agency to over 300 and sold the company for $350 million, right?
Wow.
So he took a high risk and was able to sell the company 10 plus years later. And so you have to believe that your risk is worth the reward.
Mm.
And though he came very close to losing it all, he kept going. And that's inspiring, that's encouraging, and that just tells me that it doesn't matter the risk, as long as you have a vision and a plan and have the reward later.
Mm. I love that. Oh, I didn't know he sold his agency, and I didn't really know his story. I'm gonna look into that. Thanks for showing that. Um, does liquidity play a role for you right now in the things that you do?
Yes, it does. You always, one of the five characteristics of where to place your money, right? We educate on finances, and we have this thing where you call the five homes of money, right? And so within that five homes of money, you have your banks, you have your qualified plans, you have your unqualified plans, or IR, your unqualified plans, and then your qualified is your retirements, your IRAs. I mean your 401ks, 403bs, right? And then the unqualified, which is the IRAs and Roths and things of that nature. You have your real estate, and then you have indexing, right?
Mm.
And so within those homes of money, you want five characteristics, and liquidity is one of those characteristics that you want to have. And so banks, of course, they have liquidity, and then the indexing has liquidity. And so the thing about liquidity is that you want to have access to a certain amount of funds in case you need to reinvest in
Mm.
the business. And so, yes, liquidity is very important in that aspect. So, everybody needs marketing. That is the main expense for a business, right? Marketing. And so, liquidity is very important. And there's all different types of marketing, that you can do, but that liquidity plays a major role.
That's thanks for sharing that. I never heard that before. The five houses of money, and I'm interested that they use the term, or that you use the term, unqualified versus qualified, meaning retirement
It's
account versus your IRAs. Why do they use the terms qualified versus unqualified?
absolutely. So unqualified just means that it's your own money, like it's from an IRA, it's after tax money.
Okay.
Qualified means it's pre-tax money.
Mm, mm.
Yes.
Interesting. I never heard that before.
Yes.
Nice,
I
nice.
have to get you on one of our webinars so
Oh,
you
please
can
do.
learn about that.
Please do.
Yes.
Please do. At this stage, are there any kinds of investments that don't interest you anymore?
Um, well, I wouldn't say that it's none that interests me, right? It just has to be smart and make sense because I like for my money to work for me. So any investment that I want that I'm gonna do, it has to be that my money's gonna be working for me and I
Mhm.
don't have to do much for it. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. I love that type of money. Are there any types of, well, let me put it this way. How do you decide if something is worth your attention or not?
um, what is the reward in the end, right? It's not all about the money per se, but the risk has to the reward has to supersede the risk, right? And so um one of my latest, of course, investments, of course, was in an indexing fund, just to be able to have that security net, right? To be able to start doing that because I can't have something that I talk about, and I can't not have something that I don't that I talk about, right?
Like your
If
own
I'm
poop?
educating others, how can I not have it?
Yes, 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 yes.
So that was my latest investment right there, and it
So,
gives me the liquidity. Of course, it has to grow. That's over time, just that's over time. But that's one of my bigger investments.
and when you say indexes, it's like stock indexes, right? Where they kind of like group
Um,
group of stocks together, and they're considered.
yes. So the S&P 500. It's a your Teslas, like your Nvidias, your Googles, right? The top 500 from the Standard and Poor's. The good thing about the indexing though is that you don't lose money. You get the reward, but you don't have the risk.
Yeah, yeah. With the index, does it? How often do they update it? Is it like daily, or do they look at it like annually? Because I know,
So it's annual. You update we review our clients annually.
but I mean the S&P itself. Do they
Oh,
remove
that's daily. Yeah, that's daily.
daily?
Yeah,
Oh,
the S&P, yeah, that the stock market is always going every day. Well, Monday through Friday, should I
okay.
say.
Awesome,
Yep.
awesome. Thanks for sharing that. I want to talk a little bit more about the self-directed IRA. Do you have a self-directed IRA currently?
Um, I don't have a self-directed IRA. I use the indexed account in order to do the self-direct. I don't do the self-directed IRA. I
Got
use the IUL
it.
as my indexed account.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
do you do any of your clients ever ask about it? Do you educate them about it? Do you have some type of knowledge about self-directed IRAs?
Yeah, so some of our clients do have IRAs and self-directed IRAs, and so some of them, because there is risk there, some of them want to roll that over, and we protect their money and roll it over. So we don't necessarily do a self-directed IRA. We use the indexed account for that
Gotcha.
or an annuity. Hmm.
Gotcha. And is that the agency that you're at now that Pat David sold to your company? When you say
Integrity Marketing Group.
integrated marketing group, awesome, awesome.
Yes.
And so you guys are always educating the market on, hey, put it in the stock market. This is how you can leverage it. Make sure that you don't lose your money, right? These are the five houses. We want to make sure we have a little bit of it in each.
That is correct. Absolutely, yes.
So
There's a man by the name of, this is another good book for you because
I
you're
love
an investor. It's called Keep the Keys. I'm also going to send you a short little video too. It's
yeah.
called Keep the Keys by Matthew Sapala. That's a really good one for investors and real estate, just kind of showing how to reallocate funds with equity. Like people want to do different things with their money and reallocate that money and make it work for them. So that's another good one too.
Got it. I love it. I love it. Now, you mentioned that the self-directed IRAs is a bit risky. Is it risky compared to some of the things that you guys do with stock markets and things like that?
Yeah, so with the IRAs, right? It goes off of the stock market, and so you can lose the money. So basically, it gives you high yield growth. It gives you the growth. However, the downside is that because it's powered by the stock market, you can lose all or a portion of it.
Mm, okay.
And
So,
so, go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, so you can lose all or a portion of that money. But with the indexed account, you get the risk, you get the upside participation of the market, but you
Okay.
don't get the risk.
I love that. I love that.
Yes.
I purchased the book "Start Stock Market for Dummies,"
Hmm.
and I was learning. I think I have it. I think I'm looking at it right on my shelf. And it was talking about the different ways where you can invest in the stock market. You do puts and shorts and things like that.
Yes.
So with the retirement accounts specifically, it was my understanding that with retirement accounts like your 401ks, your 403bs, these are accounts that your company may or not may offer you a match. So they say, hey, if you put in 3%, we'll match you. Um,
Absolutely.
and with the retirement accounts, those accounts are primary, they're using those funds to invest in the stock market, right? So that
Correct.
company is usually, sometimes they may sit with you and say, hey, what's your risk profile compared to where you are in your career? Okay, we think that you should invest in these indexes or these stocks, right?
Uh-huh.
Whereas with the self-directed IRA, the reason why they use the term self-directed is because you can invest in things outside of just the stock market.
That
So
is correct.
you can
Yes.
self-direct, right? So you
Hmm.
buy a piece of real estate through your self-directed IRA. You can lend that money to a business owner up the street that is looking to start a business, right? You can be a passive lender and lend those funds to that individual. Do you ever see any of your clients asking about that type of use of a self-directed IRA, where it's they use the term similar to when you call it qualified and unqualified, it escapes alternative investing.
Well, the self-directed IRA, it functions just like a traditional Roth or IRA.
Hmm.
And so for me, I don't do this, I don't have a series license, just a life license.
Gotcha,
And so we don't, so the normally with the IRAs and self-directed IRAs is through the banks or an investment firm.
gotcha.
So we don't handle those. I just know a little bit. I just am educated a little bit to know how
Gotcha.
it operates and the different types of, because you can have the different kinds of self-directed IRAs, the traditional
Hmm.
IRAs. You got your Roth IRAs, and then you got your SEP IRAs, and then you also can have a solo 401k, right?
Yeah.
And it just depends on how it's being set up, but they are powered. Like you can do um the self-directed IRA for real estate as well, like you stated, Um, but it just depends. But we don't necessarily do that. Mostly when people come to us, they want to protect their money.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And so there's always risk when there's always risk. Like the market crash in 2008, 2009, when the real estate went down.
Hmm.
And so it was a lot of people who lost a lot of money. They lost a lot of equity in their homes. One of my coworkers lost $150,000 in equity in their home, It took overnight to lose that, or, not overnight, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so, but then it took them 10 plus years to recover from that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, our job is just to educate and understand like how to protect that money and make it work for you.
Gotcha. Okay. No, thanks for helping that. Do you believe that retirement capital often aligns better with passive investments than active ones?
Um, I say diversification. I
Okay.
say don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? If you have a company that you're working for and you have a 401k and they're doing a match, I say do up to the match, right?
Mhm.
But then I have some people who like risk and reward, right? So they want high growth real quick. There's a rule of 100, right? The rule of 100 says that you take 100 minus your age, and that's the amount of money that you should be risking. So if you're
Interesting.
20 years old, then 80% of your money can be at risk.
Interesting.
But the older you get, the less money that you want to have at risk.
Hmm.
There's a man by the name of Warren Buffett, and he has two rules of money. The first rule is never lose your money. And then the second rule is don't forget rule number one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um,
Yes.
I met with a gentleman, real successful. He was doing like over 100 fix and flips a year. And he was telling me how he started to hang with some really high net worth individuals that was doing some investing and things like that. And
Hmm.
this kind of aligns when you talk about risk versus reward. And he told me, he said, Mike, uh, what a lot of them do is, and he created this entire diagram. And basically, what it was is you want to get to a point where you take your profits and you're putting them in different avenues and different opportunities where you don't have to go out and earn active income, where
Hmm.
results
Yep.
of investments are going to eventually feed you. And what he said that they would do is, as they would, take portions of profits from fix and flips and different things that they were doing, because most of them were in real estate, they would do third. So they would put a third in something that they would know was guaranteed. So this would be equivalent of the S&P 500. You know you're going to make money there. You're not going to lose money. So you put a third of your profits into that. Then they would take another third and say, okay, you're going to put this in something that is very, very risky. But if you lose it, it's not going to hurt you because it's only a third of
Right.
your profits, right? And
Yep.
then they take another third and they would put in something maybe that they were bullish on. So not too much risk, not too much guarantee, but still get a return.
Still steady. Hmm.
And he was like, Mike, this is how the big guys do it. The big guys that are in like the millions. And I always thought that was interesting. And that's something that started trying to apply within the last 12 months. Um,
Okay.
to your point, I've never heard that strategy, the rule of 100. I like that as well. Um,
Yes.
but to your point earlier, just to play devil's advocate to Warren Buffett's rule, right? Sometimes you may have a little bit of extra money that you can afford to lose, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And
Um,
that's the question. How
yeah,
much can you afford to lose? That's the real question.
absolutely. So I started a debt fund. It's a 506c. So it's for accredited investors. Are you familiar with debt funds from that perspective with accredited investors? Yeah.
Yes.
And so as I started to deploy this fund, it's a small 8 million raise. And when I'm educating my potential lenders that they have to be accredited, it kind of makes sense, right? Because the way
Hmm.
that my fund is set up is you're not in first lien on any position. There is no collateral per se, right? So if I
Okay.
mess up, I don't do right, they want you, the SEC wants you to be an accredited investor so it doesn't hurt you, right?
Right.
You have the threshold of what a qualified investor is. So it all makes sense, right? When everything is risky, right? But when you're investing per se, how much can you afford to lose? That rules of
Yes. That
using that
is
rule, or
absolutely.
like that rule. Hey, put it in the index. This is not money that you can afford to lose, right?
Yep.
As you gain a little bit more money, then you can have some higher risk with some higher potential rewards.
Yeah, a lot of I've talked to a lot of financial advisors, and I partner with them as well. So what they do is get their money from the stock market and invest it into the IUL. And
Mm,
so that's kind of their cushion, right? And
they do it,
that's
yeah.
what they kind of take back and forth or whatever and repay themselves and all the things. So it's just different strategies that are advanced that you can, definitely take advantage of.
Yeah. And can you educate the listeners, for those who don't know, on the IULs and what that is?
Absolutely. It's called an index universal life insurance policy. Um, it's um it's an index, right? So it goes with the S&P 500, so the Standard and Poor's, right? The top 500 companies. You get the upside participation of the market, but you don't get the loss. And so you get the downside is that it has a capped growth of up to 12%. And so you get the upside match of the market up to 12%. So you're safe. And then when the market goes down, you don't lose a dime.
Hmm.
You're guaranteed, it's called principal protection. So it's guaranteed safety.
I love that. Now, when you say the IULs, going back to like the whole life policies, privatized banking, whole life, a BOLI is where I hear a lot of people
Hmm.
do
Bank owned life insurance policy.
those policies. Are they always, when they set up that type of policy, right? Are they always using IULs?
A bank owned life insurance policy?
Yes.
9 times out of 10, yes.
Okay, I didn't.
Because what happens is the bank borrows your money
Hmm.
and earns interest off of your money.
Hmm.
And so that's what the whole purpose of the index universal life policy is, to create your own bank.
Hmm.
And so you can borrow from yourself and pay yourself back.
Interesting.
I've known a lot of people since I've been in the industry, um, quite a few people, and they have saved up the money in the life insurance policy, either put down a large lump sum and put investments, and been able to purchase a car and with the life insurance policy and pay themselves back on a monthly basis versus borrowing that money from a bank.
Yeah.
So they are their own bank.
Why not pay
And so
yourself?
they pay themselves back because it's a lower interest rate. Yes, you still get the interest and all the things, but it's much lower than the bank. You are your own bank because if you look at the BOLIs, bank-owned life insurance policies, you'll see that the bank-owned life insurance policies, they have like 24, like millions and billions of dollars in life insurance. It's crazy, right?
Mhm.
So it's kind of like the concept of why not do it for yourself? So,
Awesome. Awesome. And do you
yep.
help?
And then
Sorry.
say that again.
And do you help your clients set up their own whole life policies, their IULs?
Yeah, so there's three different types of policies, right? When you say whole life, that's a whole life, right? That's
Uh,
simply a whole life. It does have cash value, but not like the index, okay? That's more from like a dividend.
okay.
So a whole life is going to give you a little cash value, but not focus on that.
Mm,
Index universal life policy is going to focus on, well, most people use it to focus on cash value.
mm-hmm.
And then you have a universal life policy that kind of, I call it, works like a money market account.
Mm, okay.
So it just depends on what the strategy that my client is looking to do and how they want to handle that.
But all three can be used as you being your own bank.
Yes.
Interesting.
But the whole life, not so much.
Okay.
It's not because you can take money from there, right? But it's not focused on building cash. Like that's not it's not coming from a index.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? It's not coming from an index. So it's not going to be as much cash, but you can take from it. You
Yeah.
can borrow from it.
This is the
So
first time
yeah.
I've heard the IUL and it coming from an index. I'm gonna go back and check my policies. The company that I work with, they call them whole life policies, and we use them same way that you use them. I'm just wondering if they're actually IULs, and they just never really went into the intricacies of explaining that.
Mm. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I would have to check it out.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, the whole life is more for from a dividend
Mm, okay.
versus an index.
Okay.
That's
Uh,
why it's index, whole life, and universal life.
gotcha. Gotcha. What would you say is a good passive investment in today's day and age?
Um, outside of insurance, outside of insurance, I would say passively real estate
Mm,
outside of insurance.
I love that.
hmm
I love that.
Because real estate, you know how you know about it. Real
Yeah, of
estate is
course, of course,
always
of
the
course.
good. Real estate is always good, you know. So I like to say this, like real estate and finances go hand in hand. And so we operate as a financial brokerage and then real estate brokerage. And so we do the same thing. We just on the financial side and you guys are on the property side.
Love it. I love it. Do a lot of your clients come to you guys um, thinking or asking, hey, or you maybe telling them for different tax advantages, hey, go buy a property, or hey, look at this. This is a great opportunity where you can park your cash for appreciation and things like that. Is that something that you guys
Um,
recommend or kind of discuss?
Not really. We more so we don't necessarily recommend that type of stuff. Like I say, ours is more so of helping with tax. Now, with tax liabilities, we help small business owners to reallocate some of their funds for tax purposes, tax savings strategies through our vehicles of life insurance.
Got it. Got it. Okay. What advice would you give someone sitting on a large retirement account who feels stuck in traditional options?
Give me a call. So we also do what you call an annuity, right? Have you heard of that before? I'm sure you've heard of that term.
Yes.
Yeah, so we also do rollovers into annuities. And so again, that's guaranteed income for life. It's like basically signing up your own private pension. And so depending on the strategy and what you're looking to do with that money is going to all determine how we help you to strategize with that, right? So some people, so for example, most people have already paid off their home by the time they retire, right? Well, most, not all, but I'm just saying. So let's just say they've already paid off their home, but they want to use this annuity for their traveling, right? So we're going to set it up to say, how much money do you need a year to travel? And then that much money, we'll calculate the terms to say, okay, this is what you'll get on a monthly basis through your annuity for guaranteed income for life.
I love it. I love it.
So
Okay.
yeah, it just depends on the strategy that the customer is looking or the client is looking to provide or
Mm.
the client is looking to do.
What kinds of conversations do you think more investors should be having about retirement capital?
Um, setting up a retirement, right? Diversifying their retirement, um, getting guaranteed income for life, right? And so because for the simple fact that most people don't have retire like most people who are entrepreneurs, they don't really have a plan.
Mm,
They don't have a retirement. They don't save a lot of money. They have some money, right? But they haven't saved as much as they think they should have. And so if you take like most people retire at 65, right? And so at the age of 65, depending on your lifestyle and how much money you want per year, at minimum, I mean, because if you think about it, the thing that's going to go up is your healthcare expenses, right? Because you're no longer working for an employer, you have your healthcare expenses that you have to pay for. And so, with that being said, most people run out of money. Look at the people at Walmart, the average age of that person checking out they went back to work. Why? Because one, they ran out of money for income, I mean, they're running out of their retirement money, or two, because they just want to get out the house and do something different, right? And so with small businesses and entrepreneurs, they really don't have enough money to retire. And
Mm,
most people will say, I want to work for the rest of my life, but do you really?
mm,
Or do you want to do it at your leisure? You
hmm.
know?
Yeah. Big.
Um, it's a big difference. It's a big difference because I want to I don't want to I do want to work, but I don't want to work for the rest of my life. Like I want to do it at my leisure.
At your leisure. I love that.
Yes.
Nikita, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for educating
Absolutely.
us. This has been very, very informative. And for those of you who are watching live, and for those of you watching the replay, if this conversation resonated, share it with someone who's built success and is now thinking more intentionally about their capital and how to deploy it. And if you're curious about, retirement accounts, self-directed IRAs, uh, um, insurance policies, right? Um, please, please, please reach out to us. You'll find some of the resources in the description, and we'll see you next time on an episode of Deploy. Thank you.
Thank you.